Sego, se va juego. This capsule is going to touch on the subject of Mr. Paul Girard, ex-judge, recently appointed by the Quebec government, in their view as a negotiator, in our view as a mediator. I just want to give you a little brief prior to his appointment. This started with the change at the Quebec level of the Minister of Indian Affairs, where Minister D'Amour was replaced by Minister, who is the now Minister Lafrenière, Mr. Yann Lafrenière. Mr. Lafrenière is an ex-police officer, has experience dealing with Native issues throughout his career. So after the appointment of Mr. Lafrenière to the file, he gave me a call and was asking what some of our priorities are here in Kanesatake. What are our issues that we're dealing with? And one of the first ones was, of course, the mayor of Oka and what was going on between our community and the municipal government. So Mr. Lafrenière had gone back to his government, and then later on gave me another call, asked me if it would be helpful if some form of mediator could be appointed to try to bridge the gaps, the differences between us and Oka. I told him that every avenue of peace is always welcome, and that I was open to the idea. So Mr. Lafrenière went back and then came back to me, offered the appointment of Mr. Paul Girard, ex-judge, to be a mediator on the file. So I agreed. I had no problem with this. But I had to make it clear that Mr. Girard is not a negotiator, because we have nothing to negotiate with Oka when it comes to our Aboriginal rights and titles. But a mediation would possibly be helpful. So Mr. Girard understood. I explained this thoroughly with him. And later on, there were some talks going on in the community about the protests in the Pines. And not too long after that, about mid-December, this group calling themselves the Land Defenders in the Pines invited me to come and have a talk. I mentioned to one of the representatives that as long as the talks remain respectful, I would be happy to go meet with people and talk about common issues. So I did, and I was pleasantly surprised that we discovered that we had more in common than we had differences. It was just the approach, I think, to any given issue that was a bit of a, I guess a bit of a concern for each party. But all in all, it went well. So I offered to the land defenders if they would appoint at least 3 representatives, and that I assured them that they would be part of the first official call with Mr. Girard, which took place January 8th. Now, the call went very well. The beginning was a little bit rocky. I had decided I was going to appoint an independent chair for this meeting, and I chose Mr. Robert Bonspiel, who's well known in the community and is an unbiased, non-political person. And most participants agreed, except we had 3 chiefs on council who did not, for their particular reasons, did not agree with it. But in all, the meeting proceeded, and everybody got to say whatever concerned them, issues from environment to housing to the Mayor of Oka's actions. Mr. Girard was very receptive. He listened very carefully, and I think started to understand quite well what the issues are that kind of leads our community to certain problems, like environmental or the land issues that we're all concerned about. So the representatives of the land defenders, I think, were very happy with the outcome, and I'm looking forward to future dialogue between all the parties, taking into account that we really have to bridge the gaps between each other. We have so much in common, and I think we took that first step to continuing that peaceful dialogue. So the conversation with Mr. Girard is far from over. I'm not quite sure what he's going to present to the municipal government, but we're looking forward to those talks. So when I do get more information on this, I will communicate it to everybody, and hopefully we see some good outcomes in these talks. So, I'll go off for your attention. I'll talk to you at the next capsule. Go.